The Undead King's Ring of Peace Volume Review. Fantasy stories with an undead character among their cast aren't anything new, but in this isekai riddle market, there are somewhat few and far between. Enter the Undead Kings of Ring of Peace, a new fantasy release from Yen Press that promises to be something a little bit different. The story follows Mira, a young girl who is infected with green rot, a fatal infection that eats away at the host until they pass away. It's also incredibly infectious and has already spread throughout the small village Mira lives in, where only children remains after the adults have died or left to seek help, and they've been killed by soldiers in case to spread the disease elsewhere. Just as Mira finds herself on the verge of death, she's visited by the undead King Terios, who gives her a potion that cures her of the green rot. Not only that, but he's also saved the other children in the village. Thanks to the outbreak of the garden green rot, the village has been all but abandoned by the outside world, so Terios decides to make it his base. He treats Mira and the others well, feeding them and providing them with an education, but obviously, our protagonist is wary of what his eventual goal might be. When she and her friends confront Terios, they're surprised to hear that his ultimate goal is to create a peaceful world where no one suffers, a goal that he chases in his previous life before becoming undead but never accomplished. Once Mira learns Terios' reasoning for looking after them, she vows to supporting him and is overjoyed when he asks her if she'd like to become an apprentice mage. Then she spends her days peacefully learning all she can protect herself and her friends, but also to help her master obtain his goal. Naturally, the appearance of the Undead King isn't usually seen as a good thing, and once word spreads to the nearby kingdom, they dispatch soldiers to defeat him, which puts these peaceful days at risk. While I quite enjoy reading the Undead King's Ring of Peace, I will say on front that there is a potential and notable issue here. This volume was early in Japan in early 2020, and since there has been no sign of Volume 2, which suggests there isn't going to be another one. The problem here is that a large portion of this book is setting up the overall story, and the conclusion is perfectly fine for the end of the single entry, but not strong enough to conclude the series as a whole. The fact is labeled Volume 1 is also telling that it wasn't intended to be a single book, but instead the beginning of the long-running project. It's a shame, too, since author Sakuma Sasaki has created a likable cast of characters. Terios, in particular, is a man of mystery, but it's clear there is significant story behind him become undead that is slowly being revealed as the story goes on. By the end of Volume 1, we don't know everything, but we know much more than we did at the start about his origins. The only other issue he had was with the writing, where there was an instance shipping Mira and Terios, which her friend Torio is unimpressed, but since he's secretly in love with her himself. This leads to jokes about Terios being the pervert, which is fine once or twice, but quickly grew tiring. Luckily, the rest of the book was interesting enough that I could overlook this. As previously mentioned, the Undead King's Ring of Peace, Volume 1 comes to the West. Thanks to Yen Press, it has been translated by Jordan Taylor. The translation reads well with no issues to note. This release includes color pages at the beginning by illustrator Eishi Hayama, who has several credits to their name but nothing available in English. On the whole, the illustrations do a good job for capturing the cast and the colored ones, in particular, are very vibrant and eye-catching. Overall, The Undead King's Ring of Peace Volume 1 has an interesting premise and likable cast, but is let down by the fact it doesn't seem to have continued further than his book. Definitely want to keep an eye out for returning, but otherwise proves a difficult recommendation right now. 7/10.